Okay. All right. This is about getting open houses. If we don't have a listing within the brokerage or the team that you can host an open house at, there are lots of opportunities to still host open houses in the market. And I think we can all agree that it's been an incredible lead source this year. So we should definitely be doing these, especially as buyers agents every weekend for sure. So one of my favorite methods is to call for sale by owners to offer to host an open house for them. So first of all, when you're working with buyers, you should be calling for sale by owners anyway. So I would start with a for sale by owner that fits the criteria of buyers that you're working with, or a particular buyer that you're working with. So gives you, another opportunity to reach out to them, to speak with them. And so my trusted source for finding for sale by owners is going on to Zillow, and you can filter the for sale by owner and then add any other filters you want. So certain price points, certain areas. I would seek out a neighborhood that you're interested in starting to build business in, because as you guys know, open houses often garner a lot of neighbors, like nosy neighbors and type traffic. So I would, focus on a desired neighborhood, a desired price point, a desired type of property. If you really want to work the coach homes in Pelican Preserve, look for open houses there. For sale by owners there that you can host an open house at. So what that looks like when you're calling them is very simple, and often for sale by owners have a bit of a guard up because a lot of agents are reaching out to them trying to just get their listing or something like that. So you want to kind of diffuse that assumption right away. So, the script of that goes something like this. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Fizbo. This is Samantha with Golf Point Properties. The reason I'm calling is I see you have your home on the market, and I never say like, I see you have your home on the market for sale by owner, because that's something that will like get their guard up. So I say, I see you have your home on the market, and I want to offer to host an open house for you this weekend. So it's an offer. So they're like, ooh, I should maybe take them up on this offer. And a lot of times, you'll get a response like, okay, what does that mean? What does that entail, or something like that? And I would say something along the lines of, it's just a great opportunity for you to increase the exposure for your property. And it's a great opportunity for us to speak with a lot of people that are looking to buy in this market. So it's a win-win. So I think those kind of phrases and words just kind of diffuse their, get them to let their guard down. They see that you're just calling to offer something of value. Of course, you're not doing it like for nothing in return. You're telling them like, I'd like to work with those buyer leads. It's a win-win for both of us. And so I've had good luck with this script. And once they agree to an open house, a lot of times I'll text them a picture of my business card so that they feel more comfortable that they're talking to a professional. And because, you're then going to have to steer the conversation to like, how am I going to get access to your house? Give me your door code, give me your garage code, and things like that. So you have to build a little bit of rapport and trust there. Another great thing about calling and making this offer is it opens up the discussion. You're having a real estate conversation with somebody that's in the market. So that can lead to like, hey, where are you moving to? Do you have somebody helping you with your next purchase? Things like that. So there's just a lot of opportunity to gain leads from this, and not just at the open house itself. So recently I made calls like this, and we got a for sale by owner that wanted us to host an open house. As part of the marketing for that open house, I sent out texts to the Sync database for people that are fit the criteria of this house and saying, hey, we're doing an open house at this property. Got a response for that. They didn't even go to the open house, but now I'm working with them to, you know, find a different house. So there's just a lot of opportunity that can be created with this. If they're asking, you know, what are you going to do to market it and things like that, you know, you can just go over what you do to market a for sale by owner. Lots of signage. You know, you've got the database that you can reach out to, you know, things like that. I would verify that they are willing to work with a buyer's agent. And you don't need to do this ahead of time, but if you wanted to, you could get a commission agreement in place. And so whenever you're working with somebody that is off market or for sale by owner or not listed on the MLS, you're going to want to get a commission agreement before you show the home, like a private showing for a prospective buyer, to ensure that they're going to, you know, compensate you. Not necessarily something you need prior to the open house, unless Joe and Brad say otherwise, but definitely something to keep in mind. And don't be shy about like bringing up the commission part of it. So, you know, the continuation of that conversation can just be like, well, you know, it's an opportunity for me to meet buyers that are in the market. Are you willing to cooperate with a buyer's agent and pay a commission? And then you can go into that conversation.
What about your commission? Do you ask for a commission if someone does buy that you bring to the open house?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So they would not be paying a listing commission. So if another agent comes in with somebody, it'd be like if you were doing an open house for anybody else. There's nothing in it for you. If you bring somebody in or somebody comes in, then you would get paid your buyer's commission.
Exactly. And I would establish that and have that conversation prior to even hosting the open house. I don't know that I would be willing to host an open house to somebody that absolutely is not going to cooperate with the buyer's agent, even though you'll still gain buyer leads that won't end up buying that house, but will want to work with you to purchase another one. I still wouldn't, you know, because that might be a missed opportunity if somebody comes in and is interested in that house.
So the real benefit to them is they do not pay a listing agent, but they give you the buying, so you benefit. So both of you win.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Good.
Well, there's huge benefit because they're getting exposure, they're getting professional representation. You know, there's all the benefits of having a listed home.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do, this doesn't have to be in the first conversation, but I do like to pepper in there or hint that, you know, hey, if this was our listing, we'd be able to invest a lot more of our tools and resources and money to market it. But we're certainly going to use some of the tools we have to market the property. But, you know, we'd probably get a much better turnout if, you know, we had the listing and could go full blown with our marketing that we do when we have a listing. So that doesn't have to be in the first conversation, but I do kind of pepper that in a little bit. But that could be a follow-up call too, after the open house. Something else I would mention is, well, actually, we'll move on from that for now. So another opportunity, if not for sale by owners, to host an open house is homes that are on the market and listed with a different agent, different brokerage. These are a great opportunity, you know, to meet buyer leads, bring the buyer to that particular property, or, you know, again, just acquire new leads. So when calling other agents, again, this is probably a different kind of call that they usually get, or strange to them. Not a lot of people are doing this. So, you know, if they seem guarded for any reason, just, you know, you want to use phrases and words to let their guard down. Hey, I wanted to offer to host. It's a great opportunity for you and your sellers to, you know, get more exposure. The best properties to host an open house at are like the ones that are not currently owner occupied, because the listing agent may feel uncomfortable calling their sellers and saying like, hey, I'm gonna have this agent host an open house. No, I don't know them at all. So it would be best if it was non-owner occupied. However, I will recommend that you host open houses at properties that are furnished. A, for your own comfort. B, I think it, I think it looks strange to host an open house at a, quote unquote, vacant property with no furniture in it. Just doesn't have the same homey look and appeal. Brad often recommends seeking out properties that have been on the market for a little bit, which is a good opportunity because perhaps the listing agent hosted an open house there in the past, and doesn't want to host open houses there anymore. But I don't think you need to limit yourself to just that, because the market gets really excited right now for new listings. And for whatever reason, not every agent does them. A lot of agents don't have a team behind them that can host for them. Some agents aren't available on the weekends. Some just don't do it because they're lazy or they don't want to. So, again, when you're plugging in your criteria, look for the neighborhoods you want to start working. Look for the price point that you're most interested in. Look for properties that fit the needs of the buyers that you're currently working with. Even if they're not perfect, maybe there's another home in that neighborhood, that your buyers might be interested in, different floor plan within that same neighborhood or something along those lines. Because again, you're going to get the neighbors and the people that know the people. And so there's just a lot of opportunity there when you're hosting open houses for all these different real estate conversations to come up. When you're searching for like the type of property to host an open house at on the MLS, you can plug in all your criteria, and there's also a spot, and Joe can show all the agents how to do this. But you can have there's a little icon that has an open house symbol, like a little picture of a door and the door's open. So you can plug in all your criteria and then have that icon up, and any of the properties without that little icon, I would be calling. And again, you're offering something of value. It's a win-win for you and the listing agent, because the listing agent looks good to their sellers that there is an open house being hosted. So I think that, in the market we're in, we are seeing our open houses just inundated and slammed with buyer leads. And I can't even, it's been a significant percentage of my business this year is leads that I have met from an open house. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And even if, we don't have a listing within the brokerage, there's certainly a lot of properties out there that would love to have an open house hosted for them. So it's a great opportunity. I think that's something we should really be going after. That's it.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Any questions?
Can you just kind of say how it sounds like when you're talking about the commission with them? I know you kind of like said stuff like that, but like how it would sound like when you're talking about the commission to that person.
Sure. So, when you're telling them, they might say, why would you do that? Or how does this work or whatever? You say, hey, it's a great opportunity for you to increase the exposure for your property. And, it's a great opportunity for us to meet some new buyers that are in the market. And if any of these buyers are interested in your property, I would like to know, are you cooperating with a buyer's agent? Are you willing to cooperate with a buyer's agent? And if they ask, well, what does that mean? Well, are you willing to pay a commission if I bring you a buyer? Okay, well, how much would that be? 3%.
And then you can
So-
also bring up that, they'll just be paying the buyer agent, not the listing agent. So it's already like, do you even mention that or?
I think that would be the first thing I'd mention, is that it's a win-win, as Samantha was saying. That
Right.
first of all, you don't pay a listing agent, so you're saving 3%. And
Right.
look, only if I perform would you pay a buyer's agent. I'm the buyer's agent in this case, and it looks
Okay.
like a win-win for both of us. Plus, I meet other folks. Why don't we do
There you go. That was simple.
Right, and very, very
Mhm.
often for sale by owners are willing to pay buyer's commission. It's quite rare that they would not cooperate with an agent bringing a buyer, because you'd really, really be limiting yourself, in that case. So I don't think you'll encounter a lot of for sale by owners saying they will absolutely refuse to cooperate with a buyer's agent. And if they do say that, like, they probably wouldn't want you hosting an open house anyway. Oh,
Right.
one more thing I want to bring up about for sale by owners. For some reason, a lot of times they think that they are the best at selling their house, and that they need to be there for every showing or for the open house or something like that. Yeah. I think it's important to, mention again once they say yes, you can host an open house, how would that work? You want to, get to the point of, okay, would you like to meet in person first? Can I come preview the home first? Something like that. How am I going to get access to the home? And then you might want to say something along the lines of, and then, so, you're okay to be out of the house for those 3 hours, or, what's the best time this weekend for you, when you'll be out of the house, hinting that they better get the heck out of there. If they say something like oh, I shouldn't be here, or shouldn't I be here, or something along those lines, I would say something along the lines of, we find that buyers feel most comfortable and spend more time in a home when the current sellers and the homeowners aren't there. And we want these buyers to feel really comfortable and spend a long time, touring your house. So it's really best if, you and your husband and Lucy the dog, kick rocks.
A question for you. Is there any stats to how long a FSBO product goes on the market for versus MLS? Is it longer?
That's a good question, Sheila. I'm sure it's longer,
Well,
but I'm sure just like our market, the days on market has adjusted. I'm sure the for sale by owner
Yeah.
days on market has too. I don't know, Dick. Do you know how to find that?
Stat, it's like 85% all homes that are listed for sale by owner end up getting sold with the help of a realtor.
Yes, it is. That's really close to it's something along those lines. They end up listing.
Yeah,
Well, the 85%, it counts the ones that they bring a buyer. So they don't necessarily list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the 85% is both, and a lot of them list, but you wouldn't hit that high a threshold if it was just ones that listed.
I don't know. There is a stat for how many end up listing with a realtor, but that's kind of a stat for us, not so much
I
for
thought
them.
it was like 80%, Sam,
It's pretty high.
something like that. Yeah.
and
But
probably too, the ones that's been on them trying to do it for themselves for a long period of time, they're probably getting to the point where let me just try it,
right. But Sheila, to answer your question, that's a really good question. I'm not sure. I'm sure, a Google search might turn that up from NAR or something along those lines. But I think it's also important to keep in mind that, this initial phone call where you're offering to host an open house, don't feel pressure to try to convince them they shouldn't be doing it for sale by owner. This is just a opportunity for both of you and a value add. For sale by owners take a lot of follow-up and a lot of nurture to, again, they're very guarded, and they often have, they either have something against real estate agents sometimes, like they don't trust them, or they've had a bad experience in the past, or they just don't see the value in hiring a real estate agent, or they would have already. So it takes a lot to break down that guard. So just your first reach out and phone call should be very purely with the intention of, hey, if you'd like, I'm offering you this opportunity. It's a great opportunity for you. It's a good opportunity for me. What do you say? That kind of thing. And then, you know, in follow-up calls with them, then we can start to prove our value.
Is there a good way to, in Zillow, because I haven't worked that very much at all, to find the FSBOs?
Mhm. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Other important websites I'm going to put in the chat for everybody is fsbo.com. And I
Mhm.
think how to find them in all three, so that way you guys can save them.
Okay, so when you're on Zillow, I guess buy. Okay, when you're on Zillow and you can go to this little for sale icon, I think mine's already checked. Then you can do this drop down menu here.
Oh.
And then usually all of these are checked by agent,
Okay.
new construction, but I go through and I uncheck those and I only leave up for sale by owner. And then here you can put in the rest of your criteria. So 300K
Okay.
to 1 million. I'm in Fort Myers. It's got to be at least a 3 plus a den. So you can set the rest of your criteria however you want. And then over here, sometimes it'll pop up like this and it'll say 0, but that's because that's agent listings. So you just toggle right over here to other listings and there's 11. So there's 11 for sale by owners in Fort Myers that meet this criteria of 300K to 1 million and have the right number of, you know, bedrooms that I'm looking for or whatever. So you could go in here, put in whatever city you want to do, go to for sale by owner, and then just say like 500,000 and up. Whoever wants me to host an open house for them in Fort Myers that's selling a $500,000 home.
Mhm.
So, and then of course, you know, when you drill down to these for sale by owners, you're calling the owner. They have their number right there. So you
Mhm.
open it up here, and when you scroll down just a little bit, it's very hard to find sometimes. So you go to see more facts and features, I think, and then it's at the bottom of that. No, I can't, my screen's a
So
little.
I want to say something. One of the things
Yes.
you may have mentioned in the beginning or not. Can you hear me or no?
Just
Sometimes.
some.
Frozen again.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah.
No, is he frozen? Well, I'll show you guys real quick.
Is that when calling for an open house, it's the best thing ever because for sale by owners. And so if you're calling like, all right, I must be losing you. Go ahead.
Okay. So when you drill down on the listing here, the first tab is overview, and there's this little summary, you know, like property description or whatever. And then it says, you know, what the seller loves about the house. And then right under that, under what the seller loves about the house, it says listed by, and then it says property owner, and there's the phone number right there. Which reminds me, you might not know their name. So here you don't have a name, right? So when you call this number, I would say, hi, is this the owner of the home on Phlox that's for sale? Something along those lines. And yeah, so it's really simple. You don't have to go searching for their number. They're giving it to you right there.
And two things just to, and I think you've said it, but I'll reiterate it, is number one, you have to give them your name, and number two, I work with in the brokerage. So you need to give them that. And then the other thing is immediately you need to say, you know, I'm not calling you to list your home, to try and break down those defenses. And then you can go into the, you know, the remainder of your presentation about, you know, I've had experience, you know, with hosting these open houses, and it's a service to you, and, you know, and go through the rest of your.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So for me, I'm just trying to get it all out in that first sentence, you know, before they hang up as soon as I say I'm a real estate agent. So for me, it's, you know, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Yes, it is. Hi, this is Samantha with Golf Point Properties, and I see you have your home on the market, and I wanted to offer to host an open house for you this weekend. And then just be quiet. So.
Yeah, for all the new people, one of the most, what do I want to say, successful things you can do is say nothing.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
The more you get them to talk,
Yeah.
the better off you are.
And again, like, you're calling with something really of a lot of value to them. A professionally posted open house, they're going to get a lot of exposure. Don't be shy or scared about that, or nervous about that. If they want to be a jerk, okay, be a jerk. Call the next person.
Like it.
That's all I got.